Hi, I'm Jocelyn Cole. I work at a jewelry laboratory where my job is to explore the properties of some alloys like silver, rhodium, and platinum. One day, I accidentally left the bottles near a melting surface and the labels became unreadable. However, I do know that the density of silver is 10.5, rhodium is 12.4, and platinum is 21.45 grams per cubic centimeters. Therefore, I will now conduct an experiment to obtain density of what are now three unknown metals in order to relabel the bottles again. Firstly, you will need to gather your materials. You will need a scale, 150 milliliters graduated cylinder, and your metal. Firstly, you have to take the mass, you have to measure the mass of your empty graduated cylinder. The mass is 73.5139 grams. After measuring that, you can now proceed to add your metal. The metal was added in no particular or exact amount. So therefore, I added 16 milliliters. The volume is 16 milliliters. After adding your metal inside your empty graduated cylinder, you will now measure it all together. The measurements are 242.6509 grams. Note that the mass has drastically increased. Knowing that, you can now remove your graduated cylinder from the scale and you can now proceed to minus the 73.519 from the 242.65 grams in order to get the measurement of the metal. Knowing that the total mass of the metal is 169.137. Now you have to find the density, and the formula to find density is mass over volume. So therefore, you will need to divide the 169.137 by the volume, which is the 16 milliliters. After dividing the mass and the volume, we got 10.57 as our answer, and we know that silver has a density of 10.5, so therefore we know that metal 1 is silver. Now we will move on with metal 2. So we will be using the same materials as the ones we used for metal 1. So we already know what the measurement of the empty cylinder is, empty graduated cylinder, so therefore we will not measure it anymore. We will just add the metal. once again, the metal is added at no specific amount. Therefore, the volume of this metal is 16 millimeters. So now we will place it on top of the scale, and it is 267.5153 grams. Therefore, we will repeat the process and subtract the mass of the empty cylinder from the total mass of the graduated cylinder right now. Our answer is 195. So now we have to find the density of it. So we will divide by the volume, which was 16 milliliters again. Which will now give us 12.1 as our answer. So now we know that it is rhodium because rhodium's density is 12.4, and we now repeat the same process and add the metal inside the empty graduated cylinder. Therefore, we got 16 milliliters again. So now you can proceed to measure your graduated cylinder, and the mass is 415.2982 grams. So now you can proceed to minus that from the empty cylinder mass. I got 342.2792 as my answer. Now we will proceed to find the density, which we know already. You have to divide the mass by the volume, and the volume of this of platinum was 16 milliliters. After dividing, I got 21.45 as my answer, which we already know that the density of platinum is 21.45. So metal 3 is definitely platinum. Throughout this mini experiment, we found out the density of the 3 unknown metals, which were the density of silver, rhodium, and platinum. Therefore, we can conclude that metal number 1 was silver, metal number 2 with a density of 10.57, and metal number 2 was rhodium with a density of 12.18, and platinum, metal number 3 platinum, with a density of 21.55.